Next is from Jared Drizzle, and the subject is a food for thought. Hi, Konnan Disco and Joe. We're looking back on something. Was looking back on something about the idea of the plan of NXT going global. Even though that was 2018, now that there's a discussion about Nick Khan talking about creating a lucha style show with the success of the wrestlers as of late. My question is, if this does happen, do you think it have the same effect that the UK scene had, or had a dead period after the creation of the show? Just curious to see what y'all think of the speculation. Rest easy. This from Jared. Bro, the last thing wrestling needs is more content. They need to fix the content that they have right now to make it better to draw more fans. Is this spreading more content out is just going to dilute the product, in my opinion.
Well, here's what Khan said in this at this telecom conference. It says Nick Khan discussed the potential of adding more WWE content. Ideally for us, we would go every day of the week as long as there is a unique product we can put on the air and resonate. Something we discussed internally, Lucha Libre, which is big in Mexico and Latin America, to start something like that down the road. This would be well after US and UK media rights are settled. The synergies are all in place and we have our legs under us. That's something that's interesting to us, especially with the growing Hispanic audience in the U.S. We over-index in the Hispanic community already with our English content. To target that is something of interest for us. So maybe we'll see an NXT Mexico or something one day.
Who knows?
Well, he's smart, bro. He's trying to hit the... Huh?
I just said all I have time for is SmackDown, Raw, and Dynamite. That's it.
Yeah. Right, but if you're Latino, you might. But if you're Latino, which okay, but if you're Latino, which is the biggest minority in the United States, and I've said this before and I said again, will be majority minority by 2043. Will be majority minority in the workforce by 2033. So you're gonna have to serve us sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, I brought this up before, and it's worth repeating. Since the census have been taken. Since our first president, George Washington, last census, the largest population, 16 and under, are non-whites. It's called the browning up of the population. And out of those non-whites, the biggest population is Latino. You're going to have to serve us.
Well, that doesn't mean you have to give them Lucha Libre.
Why not?
Sure it does.
That's your right.
We're Latino. Wait, time out.
Why wouldn't you give? Why wouldn't you serve? Then why is there a food section in every major market that says Hispanics?
We're talking about
that is the point. You're serving a Hispanic crowd.
Visual wrestling content. If they're born here, why are we giving them the type of style that they wrestle over in Mexico?
Because the biggest minority, which is about to become the majority, is living in this country. Why would you not want to give them soccer, lucha libre, and anything else they like?
Wrestling is not based on race. Okay.
Yes, it is, because a lot of Latinos want to watch. Bro, you're absolutely wrong. Well, I can tell you this. Most Latinos I know would rather watch a lucha libre show than an American show, whether you believe that or not.
Okay, but my point is,
if it's geared toward
you can get Latino wrestlers that don't have to wrestle the lucha libre styles. Well, that's the point I'm trying to make. If they're born here, get more Latinos into the business. Okay, but you don't have to teach them that the other style. Bro, there's it's just weird that they're in Mexico they've always wrestled a different style.
Why is it weird? Why is that weird? Why is that weird?
Because that style has had trouble resonating over here. It's a different.
When they came up with it, they weren't worried about the United States. They were worried about getting crowds in Mexico. And here's the fun part of all this. Even though at the beginning, when we first went to WCW and you were there and we were disrespected, they talked over our matches, they made fun of us and all that. Guess what? Now Lucha Libre is everywhere, and everybody. I was just talking with a Laredo kid, and he was like, "Hey, because I needed him for some interview." He was like, "I can't go because I'm going to Belgium to do a lucha match, bro. That makes me feel good." When I went to Canada not too long ago, when I first went to Stampede, because that was like my first territory outside the United States. Nobody knew what lucha was. Nobody knew how to wrestle except one guy called Jason Anderson. Thank you very much for letting me stay at your crib. But he was the only guy. Nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew what it was about. Nobody knew how to explain it. Fast forward to like 2005, Teddy Hart brings me out for a show in Stampede. I hadn't been there in like 20 years. And before I even came out, the whole crowd was chanting lucha, lucha, because it's everywhere now. The problem is a lot of people watch videos and they don't do it right, and that's what makes it look like. But the guys that know what they're doing, it's creative and it's an art. So I mega disagree with you on that.
Yeah, you have the right to be wrong. Next is from William
Don't
Molina
use
Jr.
my own lines on me, please. Thank you.
Yo, what up? This is Konnan, and I host Keeping It 100 with my co-host, Disco Inferno, unfortunately.
Well, I'd say you're my co-host.
Listen, every Thursday here on Spreaker, we talk pro wrestling, sports, movies, music, TV, pop culture, and some politics. It's everything the rest of the pro wrestling podcasts are not.
Tune in to hear myself, the superior one, educate and inform.
Tune in to hear me bury Disco.
That's very disrespectful.
Join us every Thursday on Spreaker and keep it 100. Boom!